we set our recording time for 10:40 and we're starting our recording at 10:40.
Isn't that great? You're not going to believe this, is we set the recording time for 9. For 9. Looking back at the messages.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. You said 9 my time. I said, can do, Peggy Sue. And then I...
Oh, wait. We've got to fact check because I feel so Jessie, really?
No. Yes. Oh my gosh.
I told everyone 10 o'clock. Oh, shit. What about 9 my time? Jessie. Yeah.
We're going to take 2 deep breaths. Ready? In.
Nope.
Out.
Nope. I won't. Because my head is on full-on attack. My head's like, you took her 1 day off. And don't you have someone at noon?
I don't know if she's responded. Yeah, she's like, whatever. She's like, whatever. Don't worry about it.
I'm so sorry. I thought that's why we put it at 10 so that it wasn't like taking all, you know what I mean? Like I was trying to get closer to her. Gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't even know. I must have said it in my head.
Mm-hmm. I'm hot and I'm cold. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait. Okay, I did. I said, I'll design the format, try to get it to you by 8 for our 10 a.m. call.
Yeah, so then I saw that when I got on at 9 your time. It's okay. I got on at 9 your time and I was like, where is she? And then I went and looked and I was like, oh.
Shoot. But if we would have got on at 9, we would be here for 10.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I'm built for. This is what I'm made for. Like, I'm the person that's supposed to be here in these moments with you. Like,
Me too. Me too. Not only am I built for this, I wasn't built for this. And so the whole time, y'all don't know, but we've been trying. She's in Lisbon, and spoiler alert, she's in Lisbon, and we've been working with Seth, our sound guy, to help us figure out what's going on. And I'm in my attic looking for new chords. And Jessie, I would have been on the verge of a full-blown anxiety attack. And I'm just in my attic, like looking for a chord. My hands aren't shaking. My breath is fine. I'm like, girl, strut. Put other people out of their way and don't think about it. Because this would have put me in a fetal. And then you get on and say, I told you 9 and I showed up at 10.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, you're going to love this.
I will need to have a drink on that later, and I am telling you, like, I really am sorry, Jessie, because I really do respect your time, and you have your day off, and I'm taking it, but I promise it was honest.
I know it was, and like what I'm saying is like, I've been here, I've done this, like, but the whole time that we were trying to figure this out, did you hear Seth and I are just visiting and catching up? Like,
yes,
hey,
I was like, how perfect is that? And, oh, wait. Okay. And, I was like, yeah, it's like a built-in, like the little elevator music. I love your glasses.
Thanks. They're just for, are we both? I think this is a topic. These are middle-aged lady glasses.
We are both middle-aged ladies that wear glasses.
So
that's the end of our show.
Yep.
It was nice talking.
It was great catching up.
Can you believe we found the common thread within the first 4 minutes? Jessie, how did we meet each other?
It was on Instagram.
What, did I reach out or did you? Do you remember?
Yes, I reached out. It was post
set the scene.
Okay, it was post George Floyd. And I don't know how I came across a post of yours. Maybe I was scouring a hashtag.
I'm trying to get my face as big as yours.
I know. I'm just here. Do you want me to back up?
I did start out like my whole body, and now I'm like, I want our faces to match. Okay, I'm so sorry I spoke
It's
during
okay.
that.
Well, no, I have to you have to, here, I can back up, but I have to hold my microphone. But then it makes
Well,
noise, so let's not do that.
I just mean it's such a sensitive topic to me, and I just interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah, let's set the scene again. Okay. I don't know how I don't know. I don't know how I came across a post you made in post George Floyd. It was 2020.
Okay.
But I was definitely, I remember the comment that I made of something like, it was like, white women, we need to get educated on this and we need to do better. And that's somehow how we got connected. I remember that
I
was the
said
first.
that, or you said that.
You made a post about like what it was like being a white woman.
We have to do better.
We have to do better. And I just remember that was the gist of the post. And I like said, I total stranger, I think I commented, and then we started DMing. But I think I commented like, yes, we need to do better. We need to carry this. We need to own this. We need to, educate ourselves. And this is, so that was our first conversation. So like almost 5 years ago now.
Right? Way to start our show off with something hella controversial.
Right?
That shouldn't be controversial in the first place.
No, we started off the show with technical issues, so don't worry about it.
Yes, right? We set the scene.
Yeah.
We set the scene. Thank you for being my first co-host on this is my baby. This is my project that I felt like I had a block. My best friend actually diagnosed that in me, is that creativity was coming out and I wasn't getting it. Creativity was coming in and I wasn't getting it out. And that can wreak major havoc on your system. And praise her for, I was just really having a hard time getting Jay to these mics. And I don't know who else I can trust the way I trust Jay. And she said, you can trust you. And that was the last, because of my personality and who I am, me was the last option or idea or direction. And so someone actually had to tell me about me. Isn't that funny?
I love that. Yep. That tracks. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I love that. So,
but I love that. No, I just wanted to say one more thing, is that I love that you are holding my hand and walking me through the very first moment of this, because you know exactly what it is like to host a show. And I cherish you, and I cherish that our minds are the same. I cherish that our names are the same. And so thank you for being here is what I want to say before we get any further down the road on your controversy.
Right. I was going to say the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, we haven't even been like, hi, here we are.
You're
welcome.
Like,
welcome. Congrats.
You're like, welcome. Now about the election. And
I believe you asked.
I love it. So can you are my co-host. This is not an interview situation, but we still do need to know who you are, because my people do have a good basis for who I am, but we need to know a lot more about you, Jessie Browning.
So we share a name. I do go by Jessie, and you do go by the moniker Jess. So that's how you can differentiate us.
Yeah.
We're recording live from my basement, my new basement. I'm in my basement. I
want a basement now.
I know. Yeah. And you know what they call it in Portuguese? A cave. I'm in the cave.
Oh, I love it. That makes crime podcasts so much more interesting.
It sure does.
They held him in the cave.
In the cave. Yeah. So as we mentioned, Jess and I became acquainted 5 years ago, but we've never actually met in real life. We almost did.
Yeah.
We both used to. You still live in Texas. I used to live in Texas, but now I have moved across the world. So that's where I'm calling in from, is, as Jess mentioned a second ago, Lisbon, Portugal. Lisbon is the capital of Portugal.
I got to tell them before you did.
Yeah, you did. That's okay.
Spoiled it.
Yep. We moved here a year and a half ago. That's what I was catching up with Seth about while we were figuring out technical issues. Is that we as so middle-age theme, we have our readers on. I have glasses. I have contacts on as well, because I'm been a glasses wearer since I was 5. But Um,
Yes. I love
the
that. I
other,
need a picture.
oh my gosh, I was like bangs, like 1980s. Oh,
We'll
Oshkosh
post that
bagosh
picture.
overalls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, bowl cut. So other middle age, this probably happens a lot to people as well. You hit this like
Middle age.
midlife reckoning, I like to call it.
Sure.
Yep, my husband and I hit the midlife reckoning at the same time. Sold everything we owned, like vintage cars, podcasting equipment that I used to have, clothes,
Right.
everything. Sold everything we owned and moved our family to Europe a year and a half
I
ago.
wondered if you would have your mic still. I didn't
Yes.
ask you and you didn't say anything, so I was like,
Yeah.
she must have it. But her husband is named Daniel. He looks like Matthew McConaughey, and he's so slick looking. Like he's such a cutie. And my question really with that was, did Daniel bring that to you, or did you bring it to him? Or when you had the talk, had you guys both had it on your hearts?
We both had it on our hearts.
Wow.
Neither of us had said anything. And then actually, I think it came out the first time in counseling. Our
No
counseling session.
way.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
So he's a Texas boy through and through, and he's always
Yeah.
said, "I'm never leaving Texas again."
Okay.
He left. He was married before me, like when he was 19. He got married and divorced a couple years later. And in that time, he had moved to California, and he was like, "I'm never leaving
Okay.
Texas again." And I just knew that as a fact. You know what I mean? Like that's just you Texans love that place. I get it. I understood.
It's just because it's the best one of the states, and so it's really odd for y'all to condemn us for loving the best one. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Proceed.
Then one day in 2022, summer of, he said, he basically, I don't remember what he said exactly, but he indicated he'd be open to leaving Texas. But to do that, because of course he's a Texan, go big or go home. It was like, if we're going to leave, I want to leave the country. I want to go like explore the world.
What in the world?
Yeah. And I was like, great.
I would have been too. If my kids are going, I'm good. I'm going.
Yep.
Now, if you need us to go without them, that's going to take a few months of therapy. But if my kids are in tow, we can go wherever. We can go to the moon.
Yep. And that's so our oldest was 14, I think, at the time. She's now 17. And we realized if we wanted to do a grand life adventure like that, we had to do it now while we could still control and take her.
Yes. In a legal sense.
Exactly.
Legally binding with paperwork.
100%. We only had like a couple years left, and then she could have had like free will.
And verbal manipulation while our mind's real small and young.
Exactly.
We're taking you to the coast of Lisbon with beautiful hiking and cuisine. How is the food?
The food is brilliant. So it's really seafood based. So, we're coastal here.
Yum.
A lot of seafood. Of course, I am boring. I have celiac. So all these beautiful European pastries and baguettes and pastel de nata is the most well-known pastry here in Portugal. I can't have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shoot, you tried? Should you try? Like a
No.
college try?
No. So it's not like an allergy. Like if I eat gluten, it destroys the my stomach. Like, and it takes months for it to grow back. It's not like a
no. Shoot.
And then like after I'm accidentally served. Sometimes it happens. 2 hours later, it's like a nice event in a bathroom for me for a while. So anyway, no.
I'm that not on that level, but I do know what that's like because of mushrooms. Mushrooms do that.
Do they do that to you too?
Yes, I don't break out in hives or allergies or my throat doesn't close up, but I will be 9 months pregnant within the hour. And absolutely miserable. There's no other space for air to go in my stomach. I need to just be popped.
Yep.
Not wild. I know.
Is wild.
And it wasn't until like 5 or 6 years ago
that you figured out what it was.
that it started doing it, because I was raised on mushroom pizza. It was my favorite. You know the little mushrooms that come in the jar?
Mm-hmm.
Our favorite little Sicily's pizza place had, I was a little girl, like 8 or 9, and all I wanted was to go get mushroom pizza. And it was that whole pizza with jar mushrooms across the whole surface. And it was my favorite. And now, no. Mm-mm.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That is
I
wild.
know.
That's a bummer.
What is the language barrier like over there, and do you miss me?
Yes.
On both. And that's our
Yes.
show.
Yep.
That's also our, and that's part 2.
And thank you for
Part
coming.
2 of our show.
And yes.
You've been wonderful listeners.
Thank you for joining us.
Is there a language barrier?
Yes. And
Is
yes,
there?
I adore you and
Is
miss you.
there?
Yes. So Portuguese speak, in Portugal, they speak Portuguese is what I'm getting at.
Yes, sure.
It is a beautiful language, yet it is, I'd say the language and the words are not hard. It's the accent and the dialect. And, you know, I am, as far as learning a foreign language, is similar to Spanish in the way that like they do the romance language. So, you know, the gender, you know, all that kind of,
Sure.
all that kind of, yeah. I can get through, okay, listen to this. This is winning. I can get through a grocery store interaction speaking Portuguese.
Okay.
Like that's, as somebody who like, that's one of the only times I leave the house is go to the grocery store because I've worked from home, right? When you have, okay, let me back up. Being an immigrant is incredibly humbling. Not knowing the language, not knowing like the amount of stuff that we've had to learn, the onboarding, the growth that our brains have taken. Like think of like Celsius, metric system, a language, learning how to drive in Europe. Has anybody ever been to Europe? Like,
Right.
You've seen the roads here. It's wild. It's wild.
Right.
So it has been the most humbling experience of my life next to motherhood.
Oh, I bet it would be, just because, you know, we have a huge Spanish speaking culture here in Texas. And we've, you know, developed these relationships where we're able to kind of share with each other that our friends are nervous to speak English in front of us, afraid of looking ignorant. And I mean, that is, and us too, we're afraid to try out our new Duolingo Spanish. And, because we're not going to say it correctly. And there are so many tricks in the English language that don't follow any type of rule or anything. It's not fair whatsoever. But yeah, I wonder how long you will feel like it's going to take you before you can confidently feel good about your conversational, you know. Especially as a very intelligent person. I could see that being really tough.
Yeah, it's been tough for our whole family, and we're all at different levels. I will say that. Like, it hasn't been easy for anyone. Yeah, that whole immersion thing, I think, is a myth, by the way.
You do?
Especially with children. So there is definitely an age, because we put our younger 2 children in the Portuguese public school last year, and they didn't learn anything.
They didn't.
There's like, you got to be little. Like, you have to be, I think it's less than like 6. Well, everyone's still learning how to communicate, and then you can pick it up. But by the time they were like 9 and 11 when we got here, they were both beyond that open, squishy brain section of learning and life and whatever for language. It's hard. It's real hard. And you know what's really interesting is I learned through this process of trying to learn the language about really how differently people learn anything.
Okay.
Visually. Yeah. Videos, books. You know what I mean?
Right. That's repetition, writing it down. Yeah.
Yep. I don't learn from watching videos. I don't.
You don't. And then a lot of people can do online versus in the classroom. I'm not one of those people. I'm sure it would be better because we've been immersed in online stuff so much more. But being on the cusp, I'm a 1980s, 80, and I am on the cusp of like We didn't have the internet. We did have the internet. We didn't have cell phones. We did have cell phones. I started all of that. And I think you're around that time. And but what's funny is you and I wanted to start our show in a certain direction, and I'm just now realizing that there is so much more depth to that topic because, our original question was people like us with our spicy minds that we have, our nightmare is that small talk in the grocery store. Like you were saying, you leave the house to go to the grocery store. The small talk is what sends me back to the car. And the small talk is, you don't want to just pass someone without saying hello. So instead, you stop and you say these 3 or 4 sentences. And to me, walking past without saying hello is kinder than that little dance that you do. And so you and I were discussing what could we do to transform that. And I'm finding out that your problem is not small talk. Your problem is you're not really having a way to connect with someone other than Daniel and the kids. And that has to feel pretty isolating.
Yes. Do you know what one of the hardest things for me is? I can't have, what's so funny is I can't stand small talk, yet I can't have the simple, just quick connections with people being like, I love your jacket.
Sure.
I love your skirt. Yesterday I went to get my blood drawn and the woman had beautiful pink nail color. And I tried to explain to her and she got it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But isn't that interesting that I don't find small talk, it doesn't bring me life, yet being able to make those tiny little connections, it's not even small talk, but just little micro connections.
No, it's wild, Jessie.
Yeah.
It's wild what you're saying.
Yeah. It's
wild.
Yeah.
So moving there, does that give you a new appreciation for small talk?
It gives me, I wouldn't say small talk. Okay, here's the thing. If we saw each other in the grocery store and we wouldn't walk by and be like, oh my gosh, can you believe the rain clouds out there? Wow, the weather is just
and
so
I'm gonna
wild.
Lay in the floor. I'm going to lay in the floor, Jessie.
I mean, rewind. Our first conversation was about, 2020 George Floyd. Do you know what I mean? We didn't even start with that. We didn't even start with I like your hair. You know what I mean?
No,
we go into the deep end. Right. However, when you don't know someone, when you're out in the world, one of my favorite things, it's a love language of mine, is to be like, I love your hat. Those shoes are great. Your outfit's fire.
Too.
Teenage boys, old women, doesn't matter. I'm throwing out compliments just to throw out kindness in the world. And I'm mute in that now. I just tried it yesterday with the first one yesterday was with the nails. The woman.
Yes.
I was like, oh, eu adoro cor roche. I was like, I like the pink, and I was pointing. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to say I like your nail color. Yes.
Do you know what she said in return?
She didn't say. She just smiled and
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because she was putting a needle in my arm, so maybe it's not the best time to try to engage somebody in a conversation when you aren't speaking clearly. Maybe that's not my best step.
I think I may have pointed at the nails.
That's
where I went wrong. I think I would have just pointed and then just done this or I hate thumbs up. Oh yeah, that's good. I came out of the funnily enough, out of the nail salon the other day, and this guy had zip tied a license plate to the front of his car, and we don't have brackets on the front of our new car, and so I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea because we don't have one of those. And he's like, what? He speaks Spanish. And I was like, oh, I was just saying, what a great idea that you zip tied it because we don't have a way and we'll get pulled over. And by the end of the conversation, I was going home with a pack of zip ties he wanted me to have. And I was like, I don't need them. And he's like, oh, I'll get it. He was meaning I'll get it for you. I'll help you. And I'm like, oh, I have zip ties. I don't need zip ties. And I'm just driving home with my zip ties,
Yeah. That's exactly those moments that the language barrier kills me,
Well, because you want to say, oh, I asking for anything. I didn't
Right.
need you to go out of your way. And those words
Yep.
are like,
Right.
like you can't
Yep.
explain yourself.
Nope. Yep. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
nuance in language. And it's been really interesting. So there's this woman that I follow on Instagram. Again, we met on Instagram. Who is her focus is like finding your style without buying anything new. Like going into your wardrobe or buying,
Yeah.
already, things that already exist in the world. And so she moved here a little bit before I did. And somebody sent me her video and said she lives in Lisbon. Anyway, of course I connected with her. And she
How
said to me,
neat.
and I completely understood, where she was like, in my house, I found my stability. I found myself. We found our rhythm. We found, where our family exists in our world. And as soon as I step out this door, I am like, my senses are overwhelmed. My pits are sweaty. I have, oh my gosh, you should see what I've done to our car. I have scratched, and not crashed. I've dented and scratched our car, being overwhelmed in a parking garage, because it's just like I have, I think it's Glennon Doyle term, vulnerability hangover for the last year and a half.
Brene Brown.
Oh, is it? Yeah, yes, she's the one. Yes. I am just, as soon as I step out of my house, I'm like, where am I? What am I doing? I can't understand the signs, but yet so invigorated about it, Jess. Like, I love it here. I love that we did this.
I'm sure it makes you feel alive. My best friend is speaking this weekend in North Dakota, and she's like, I'm not nervous yet. I'm not getting nervous. I'm hoping that I don't get nervous. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I want that feeling again because I don't get it anymore. Like we were talking earlier, our friends have a TV show, Rob and Emily Sharkey, and the first time he asked me to be on his show, I was convulsing. My whole entire body was vibrating and I was shaking and I had hives all over my chest and I was doing jumping jacks in the kids' closet because that's the only space I could get good sound. And it was like the end of my world, and all he wanted to do was say hello and share our family, And now he could ask me today, could you come be on TV? And I'd be like, what time? And so sometimes I do miss the feeling of being alive and that we are doing something so scary. But you're having a whole new set of the things that allowed you to thrive here. You have to rely on something different. You have to find something else, and that's so cool. I mean, they say wear your watch on your different wrist, or, tie your shoes a different way, or make your life difficult so that you don't get settled in your ways of living. And so you really took that
go big or go home.
Right?
Right?
It has to feel good. It has to feel good. Yeah.
I mean, this life was birthed out of the flames of our previous life.
I'm going to pause a second, Jessie, and there's a huge sound. Do you hear it?
Yes, hold on. I know what it is.
Okay.
As soon as you said that, I knew what it is. It's my washer.
Is it not me? Okay.
No,
I didn't know if it was my air.
As soon as you said I'm going to pause, I was going to say, good, I just started to hear my washer. Be right back.
Okay, good.
Is it gone now?
It is. You look so pretty.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
I didn't know if it was our air conditioner, and fun fact, about 10 minutes before we started, our heat went off in our big part of the house, which one kid went to college this morning, but we've got a new set of kids. My kids are coming tonight, so I do need to figure it out. But I'm like, what are the chances he left for college and our heater breaks?
Where the hell are all your kids? Give me your kid rundown. Somebody's at college now.
One is by your old place. We've got one over in Tech. He left this morning.
Yep.
One is close to here. She's at Commerce here in East Texas. It's only about 35 minutes from our house.
Okay.
And then two are sophomores. One started driving. One will start driving tomorrow. She's doing her driver's test right now. Yeah, right now as we speak. And then my sophomore and then my 7th grader are close to here. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're awesome.
How does it feel to have your heart living in Lubbock, and you know, like, what's it been like saying like goodbye, go into the world, don't trip and fall?
Yes.
No, just kidding.
There was maybe a year before it happened. I was walking through the house and I felt like it was just like when they say an elephant is sitting on your chest.
Yep.
And it sat on my chest, and that was like a year before they left. It's so funny. So I think God like really let me process that. Lil got a job. My Lily got a job 3.5 miles from here. So she travels from school to work. So if I need her, I'm just going to go there. I thought it would be really tough. The idea that she doesn't live here, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
It's not. She's so happy, and our son is so happy. And he communicates more with his dad. Our son and Jay have like a walkie-talkie relationship. Lily and I have a walkie-talkie relationship. And so thank God it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's great to hear.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, because that's a real thing. That's a real thing of like, I've lived with you for, 15, 16, 17, 18 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's not,
Yeah.
And now you're going to be gone.
Yeah. Yep. But I mean, and I'm an interior designer at heart, not an occupation, and so designing her rooms and painting her rooms and picking out little things, that's been so fun for her and I to do. I mean, with your kids, there's not so much you have to talk about because you're their mom. And so it's not like you can talk to them about your marriage or, you know what I mean? There's things that you've got to get creative. And them going to their schools has added a whole new facet of that. Our son is in Lubbock, and we went and visited him, maybe in November. And I thought he'd show us around the campus, show us around his dorm, take us to his fun spots. Maybe we'd see him for like an hour or two each day. We were there for like 3 days. He arrived at our hotel, and we just get a king bed because we are gigantic people. And so we can't do the 2-bed thing. So we got a king bed, and he gets on the bed with us. It's him, his dad in the middle, me on the end. And we rotted for 3 days. I made a snack table. We watched football, and I realized that he, like his dad, he knows everything about football. And I would be like, I'm going to the snack table. Does anyone want anything? It's like 2 feet away, And
wait, let me take this adventure for you. I'm going to the snack table.
Hey,
please get your request. Yeah.
Let me help you say the trip.
Let me. Don't worry about the step. I can put the candy bar in my pocket, and walk across the room. Just lean on me.
I'm a giver. I'm a giver and a server. I have a servant heart. Yeah, it was just so fun. And it was just so shocking to me, because I'm the stepmama. I don't think that he wants to spend 3 days with, does he want to spend 3 days with his dad despite me? Maybe. I don't know. But I am there, and I'm a pretty big personality. And so it just was so kind that it would be the 3 of us on the bed for 3 days. It was my favorite thing. We're going back in about 10 days to see him again and watch a basketball game at Lubbock. So, yeah, everyone says don't blink, and when people turn away, I'm like, just blink. It's been so good.
Yeah. So I was not made for the baby phase. I'm made for this phase.
Yeah, it's good.
Mine are like 10 to 17 right now.
It's good.
And then I've always known there's been a lack of information about parenting older children. I've always seen this there's one narrative, as with most things. Ready? There's a what I want to say, not the dynamic narrative, the middle age. Oh my God, words.
I want to help you.
Dominant narrative, right? There's always a dominant narrative, right? I could say this about owning a business. There's so much mythology about owning a business, right? Dominant narrative, be your own boss, or it goes by so fast. Those, I find to be completely untrue for me. You know, I am the subversive narrative or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That, you know, I struggled when they were little. Like I was like, this is not my time to shine. This is my time to like cry in the corner. You know what I mean? Like this is my time to struggle. Now do you know what, Jess? Last weekend, my oldest daughter was it last weekend? Oh, there was only 4. The weekend before, there were 7 extra teenagers in my house. Do you know how much I
God,
love
it.
that? Jess, I'm making them brunch. I'm making them coffees.
Love it.
Jess, they're speaking in
it.
Portuguese all at my table. They love me. Jess.
What in the H? That's all I want.
I had 10 teenagers in my house. Do you know what they did? There's a couch right here. Half of them slept here. The other half slept in my daughter's room, all over, like on the floor, on the, you know, like all over the place. And they stay up late watching movies. I get up in the morning and I'm just like, when are they awake so I can make them brunch?
Insane. What is that? It's like when your dog gets along really well with another dog at the dog park and you're like, look at them. Like, I mean, when the kids, these teenagers, when they get along so well with each other, it just makes my heart want to explode, especially my step twins. Like Henley and Lily are 28 days apart. They're both 19. And the other day we had gone to an out of town wedding and Lil's like, I'm riding back with Henley. And I'm like, okay, all right. Like, I mean, I don't want anything for Christmas now because that was my Christmas present. Like, it's just the sweetest. I don't know. It's just so endearing. But my family is, you might be similar or understand what I'm saying, but my family is real weird when our favorite things are this. My mom and dad come into town. Jay needs to run to the farm to get something, and my dad jumps in. That's all I want. That's all I want. I mean, you don't need to tell me I'm pretty. Just go run an errand with my husband. I don't know why that's just so endearing and so fulfilling to me. Somebody needs to tell us what that is. Will it be you? Will it be you?
It's Brene. I think it's Brene.
Brene will tell us?
Yeah, she'll tell us.
What will she coin it?
She'll coin it.
Errand currency.
Yeah, errand currency.
And
there's different
currency.
There's different other currency. You have the servant currency that we talked about in bed. Remember? You have the servant currency.
Yes. Is that small? Is that a smaller currency? Maybe to you. Maybe to you.
Everybody values their currency differently, Jess. Oh, right. Everybody.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's get back to our what would you? You know, you go.
I was say, do you like your dad?
Do you like your dad? Spoiler alert. You have to travel back to when you were in the States to channel your disdain for small talk, which I'm sure you already did. You dialed in while we were having this conversation the other day, so I need you to bring that back to mind. At least set the scene. I'll set the scene for you. You walk in. You see from afar a friend that is married to your husband's coworker. And you've been at several parties together over the past 7 years. You've known this person for 7 years. And your carts come near each other. You lock eyes. And instead of her going, what are you doing here? Which obviously you're there to get groceries. What is your favorite thing that is now going to come out of her face?
I've thought of so many more of these since.
Have you? I want your favorite.
My favorite?
I'm ready.
Okay. My favorite
it's going to be so deep, isn't it?
I mean, this is so bad because, and also like, okay, I want to say to her, our carts meet, right? And I say, oh, so great to see you. When was the last time you pissed your pants? You were laughing so hard. Like that.
What would she say, Jessie? Like, Jessie.
She would talk about the time that she was
No, she
that she was
wouldn't.
unloading her groceries and spilt pickles all over her neighbor's
No.
shoes. And
No, she wouldn't.
Yeah.
She would
What would
pretend
she-
to get a call and get away from you. She would not.
No, I love. I'm
I
like,
know.
no, she would have a funny story in my world.
Do you know the other day I had like a wonderful conversation with someone, and I remember thinking, somebody that gets it, like somebody that wants to go deep with me before the second sentence. And look at this connection. Oh, I feel this connection is palpable. This is so nice. And do you know what that person said next? She goes, well, enough trauma dumping. I guess I'll go. And I was like, that's not what we were doing? We were not trauma dumping? Yeah, and I got so defensive in my heart, and then I got so defeated that what I need is trauma dumping, and then that just means more therapy. And can we afford more therapy?
Not at this rate. The way, yeah, no.
Should we check back? We should check.
Not in this economy, no.
Check back in a month. Check back in a month and we'll go over some numbers. But now.
So what is that? Why do some people think it's trauma dumping? See, I don't think that at all. I think it's like being real.
You don't. You don't.
No.
Are you just saying that because you feel like
No, I think we're
deflated?
Maybe we're just two peas in the same pod.
Yeah. Do you feel like I'm letting you know that we do trauma dump, and how do you feel about that?
Okay, maybe I do need more therapy.
Maybe you could just sit with it for a little bit later.
Right?
Can you
Maybe
imagine? I feel like the light's hitting my glasses just so wrong. The question was, when is the last time you have peed your pants laughing?
Yeah. Yep. That's the
Okay.
That's what I need to know. That's what I need to know from people.
All right.
I mean.
All right. I've got one.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Okay. We are sitting with our friends, two couples from closer to Dallas, and we are sitting with them up in an Oklahoma casino restaurant, a nice one. That's important. Expensive because our behavior was not expensive. And four of us are facing the wall, four of us facing out. Well, one of us looks up and there is a picture of Mickey Mantle leaning over. I think it's Mickey Mantle. I'm not sure. I tried to Google it to find his face, but I don't think that matters to the story, but it might. He's leaning over a training table and he has a white towel around his neck. And one of my friends says, "Oh, that's Justin's O face." And he points to our friend Justin next to us. Well, my favorite part of the story is his wife is sitting four down across from me. And I love that our friends sit like that. That's one of my favorite parts of the story. We do really sit girls and guys, so that does make more sense. But she's sitting across from me, and that's his wife. And instead of like getting defensive and taking up from him, she goes, "No, this is Justin's O face," and she like slow claps and does like her mouth open and does a slow clap. I've never laughed harder in my entire life. It is the one moment I will thank our God for when we get there. I'll be like, that was good. And Jay and I, if you hear Jay retell the story, we both had our foreheads on the edge of the table, looking at the ground, doubled over. I wanted to violently throw up to stop what was happening to my body. And I know that it's you had to be there. It's not all that funny, but it just was the hardest I've ever laughed. And like, if you have 8 people or 6, if you have 6 people laughing like that, think of the volume. And we destroyed that place. You know, people were probably on their anniversary dinners and we were acting like 14-year-olds.
Oh my gosh, the Yelp reviews from that night must have been like, great dinner, party of 6 across the way,
Yes.
couldn't keep it together. I paid $200 for this dinner, and all I could hear was them laughing and making jokes about the O face.
Yes, and it's my favorite moment of my whole life. We'll randomly group text about all of it. But what I wanted to ask you, Jessie, is thinking on yours, do you find that you can get those around anyone, or do they occur around certain people in your life?
It's got to be certain people. Don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I'm not saying exclusive. I'm not saying it can't happen, but consistently. Sorry. Ooh, I've been unwell for a minute. I just had a moment of like, you know, in my mucus.
Us too.
Okay. Yep. I find when I am around, like, you know how you have your core group of people. I have a core group of people like in all the places I've lived, right? When I'm around those people, it's much easier to access. It's like the people that like your girlfriends, you know, that you have your group text. There's 4 of you. We all have one, right? I have one from like each place that I've lived. When you're together in a room, like, forget it. Yeah, forget it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
These are our specific, where maybe we can probably document 2, maybe 3, or 3 for sure. We've had 3 for sure happenings of these giant, harder than other time laughs, and it's been the same exact people. It's been the same exact people. And we have neat little circles. I feel really fortunate to have these different circles that we have between Jay and I. And this is this one in particular. And so it's almost like a drug for me. I'm like, hey, what are you doing Saturday? And they're like, why? I'm like, just give me the stuff, man. Like, just show up and be there. You know, like it makes you almost feel dirty, like you're using them for joy. I want to use you for joy. Yeah, not funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. We have one family that we've connected with the most regularly here. And to get this, just totally random side note, it just made me think of what you're talking about, friend groups. They have 4 boys. We have 4 girls.
No way. What are the ages?
So, they're pretty much, ours are 10 to 17 and they're like 11 to 16. They're like, isn't that wild?
No.
Yep. They're from St. Louis. They're from St. Louis. Those are our closest friends here.
What?
And when we get together, by the way, in Europe, it's not real common to see 4 kids in a family.
No.
We have to reserve 2 separate, like if we want to go out with the kids, we each have to make a reservation because nobody's taking a reservation for 12. They're like, are you kidding me? No.
You're kidding.
No.
Wow. So you have to do a lot of stuff in your homes.
Yeah.
Or get
and
creative.
A lot of times, you know, and a lot of times we just hang out with the adults. You know what I mean? We don't go with the kids too often because who can afford that? Good Lord, you know?
Right.
Six
I wanted to tell you the other day, you know, are you on TikTok?
Am I on TikTok?
Okay, good. Because I would have to have a whole other explanation for what's coming.
I know.
Okay,
tell me the video. Tell me. I bet I've seen it.
I'm actually going to read it to you.
Please. Oh my God, I love it. We're going to read TikTok on a podcast. Yes.
We'll kind of finish with this because we're getting close to our end. But and then
I believe you need to ensure your reading glasses are on for this.
Oh yes, thank you. Well, I wanted to set the scene, and I can't see with them and can't see without them. I can't see your screen because I've got my lighting. So I want to set the scene. We were in Vegas. Well, do you know the little Muppet trend? Don't tell me if you've heard it before, because I need you to just.
No, I don't. I really oddly don't know this Muppet trend. Do I know the Muppets? Yes. Did I grow up on the Muppets? Yes. Do I know the Muppet trend? No, I don't know what that is.
I need you to be that person that I send you the TikTok and you've already seen it, but you pretend that you haven't.
Okay, I truly haven't.
And so I'll just show you on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. This one.
Oh, okay. Yes, now I know what this is. Yeah. Yep.
So the reason I was bringing it up is we were in Vegas. We were just sitting in a little area watching TV and eating or whatever. Well, somebody was making a video about it, and they were like, they said the punchline, and they were like, I know y'all have seen all of them, but if you haven't seen this one, and they said the punchline, and they were like, you have to. So I go over to it, and I already know the punchline, which jokes should not be funny when you start with the punchline getting outed. When I tell you, I could not breathe. I was reading it to Jay, and I was like, I even know what's coming. Like, I know what's coming. Okay, ready?
I'm ready. I'm laughing. I don't even go for it.
I can't. I was like, I'm reading it to Jesse. I do not care.
Oh my God, I love
okay,
it.
So it's this little fella for
Yeah.
our listeners. How do you say it? It's the little Muppet,
It's
and
the-
he has that.
He's the
can't
shrimp
believe face.
Yeah, he's the shrimp, right? Isn't he the
He is?
shrimp? Yeah, I think he's supposed to be a shrimp.
Okay.
He was, yeah, anyway.
But can you help me describe the trend? Like, it's just like, can't believe that this happened, and they put it to like mini slides. It's always mini slides, mini words. So it's going to take a little bit, but it's going to be worth
It's
it,
always,
I promise.
it's not like not necessarily a video. It's still, it's like
Slides.
you put words over those slides. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
About 4 years ago, when I was new at work, I was super anxious about eating my lunch in the communal kitchen, as there were so many different people in different departments there. I was kind of awkward, and I didn't know anybody, so usually I just ate at my desk. But one day I decided to eat in the kitchen, somewhat late for lunch, so that fewer people would be there. I was so happy when there was only me and this older woman I'd never seen before in the kitchen. We both sat down at the small rickety table, and as it was such a small table, we automatically sat too close to each other, not to actually make polite small talk. I'm not good at polite small talk. When we ran out of usual talk points like the weather and the upcoming vacation time, she seemed to struggle to find something to talk about. It was awkward, and the silence just stretched on. I couldn't come up with a single thing to say. My mind was blank. After what feels like an eternity, she desperately asks me if I have any children. I don't. I don't have any kids, and I don't plan on ever having any either, but I'm in social panic mode. And I feel like I can't say this, as I'll be shutting down the conversation immediately. We'd be in the same situation as before. The horribly long and terrifyingly stressful, awkward silence was looming. I'm trying to come up with an alternative answer than just no, which should have been easy, but for some reason my brain was just shut down. I want to say not yet to be polite, but I also don't want to lie. It's been quiet for way too long. I need to answer. My mind is reeling. Suddenly, I hear myself say the words,
Oh no.
not anymore.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
The woman is horrified, obviously. She immediately apologizes profusely. I am frozen in complete shock. I'm planning my escape out of the country at this point. I'm sure it cannot get worse, but as she apologizes again, I hear myself laugh nervously and say, "Oh, it's okay."
Oh no.
Oh, it's okay. The silence after this is deafening. We do not utter a single word. The only thing heard is the scraping of our plates. She stands up and leaves. I stare into the void. the following weeks, I hear rumors that there's a young girl at the company who's lost her kids. I say nothing. I feel horrible. No one knows it was just me failing at a social interaction so fatally it killed my imaginary kids. I never ate in the communal kitchen again.
Nope. Nope.
Can you imagine? And just being like, oh, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. Oh.
Like, I'm not feeling good. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay.
I'll get through
like
it.
I said, like I'm a little stuffed up still. Like, oh, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I'll get by it. Yeah, that is.
Don't.
And so
I might find some more.
Oh my gosh! So the girl that led me to the video was like, "Look at my chest is so red.
It's so red."
The girl was like, if y'all haven't seen Not Anymore, you need to go." And so I'm like, well, shoot. She said the punchline doesn't matter. It was
doesn't matter.
That is one of the fun. And they said there's like some really good ones, like just as good as that one. Not funny. And it goes back into the small talk. It reminded me of our small talk conversation. Just the awkwardness of all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just, maybe there should be like a button that we wear or something of like, I can handle myself. Or I can't, you know?
Not today.
Not today. Oh, the last TikTok that made me cry before that one, which I had not seen, I really had not seen, was a woman who sent an email where it said, "Hi Betty," or something like that, and then the first sentence was "turd."
Yes, I saw that.
Did you see that
she
one?
didn't mean to. Yeah. And she didn't mean to. I just broke our covenant and told you I'd seen it. Go again.
Oh, that's okay. No.
Okay.
No, that's it. That's all I was going to say. It's just, that was funny enough, but then the comments of that video, and I love that we're talking about TikTok. Like, this is so on brand for like middle-aged moms.
Right.
It was last week before work. I mean, tears of the comments of the things that people have accidentally sent. Just like the tits Carlton, you know, and like the whole working. I mean, it just all day long. I could listen to that all day long.
I know. It's such joy giving. It's so funny because I'll wear my headphones in bed because I hate two different noises. You know, if Jay's playing some, he's real good at not playing his, and I turn mine all the way down.
Okay,
So I'll just have my headphones on and just be dying. And so he's like, "What's going on?" You know, I'll try to like explain it to him, and yeah. Somebody, I freaked out at a video last night because two people I love were together, and it was that Landon Barker and Instagram or TikTok dad and TikTok husband. I'm sorry, Steve. And I just lost it. I mean, they keep calling it like the finale of TikTok. And Jay's like, "What happened?" And one of the comments was like, "I have no one to talk to about this." And I was like, "Don't try your husband because it didn't work either," you know?
Yeah.
But Jessie, to quote you,
"Oh no,"
I creeped your Instagram.
Oh no.
And to quote, switching gears, to quote you because I admire you so much for so many obvious reasons, but I'm just really thankful for our relationship because our world is so big, and so I just feel like our God is so charming that he deemed us blessed enough to like know each other and be able to pick up the phone. And you told me the other day, you said like you had gone on a hike on the beach with the forest, and I was just like, "I think you're living in a dream." And you were like, "How did we stumble into this life?" "Oh yeah, we burnt our last one down." And I just want to tell you, like, you're so inspiring, and I'm so thankful that you're somebody that is going to tell your story because a lot of people are so private, and that's fine also, but I'm just so thankful that you're not, that you are going to show others how to step out of these little boxes we've created for ourselves or that have been created for ourselves. And I just think it is so perfect that you be my first co-host because of how much I admire you as a mom and a wife and a woman. And I'm just really thankful that you're my friend.
Thanks, friend. Okay, I'm gonna find my tissues now, everyone.
And when are you starting your show back?
I don't know.
You're like, the connection's bad. Bad connection.
Yeah. My friend, I just hold on before I talk. My friend Mimi is prompting me to start a show again all the time, but I don't know. One day, maybe, whatever. No, nothing about that. But the internet has been so kind to me. I met my husband on the internet. You know, we didn't run our business on the internet, but my husband used to run a business on the internet before we ran our business. I find the internet can be a cruel, cruel place, and I never read the comments. You know, I'm just except for I just told a story about how I read the comments. You know, of that one TikTok video, but generally
You're a
never read
liar.
the comments. Yeah, I'm a total caught red-handed in my own lie.
You outed yourself.
I did, but I will say that I have, and maybe some people don't understand this. Maybe this is not how they work, but I have made some of the greatest connections on people that I've met online. Like you and I is a perfect example. Like I've never gotten to like fluff your fabulous hair, which is looking so great right now. Your whole picture, like you've got this beautiful picture behind you. You got a great outfit, like your beautiful smile.
You're so nice to me.
Oh, please. You're so nice to me. And like how does this happen? Like, do other people do this? I do this. I don't know. Do other people make friends on Instagram? I don't know. Okay, they do. Yeah.
What's really neat is you're leading into the whole reason for this, or the whole birth of this.
Did I just tee this up? Oh my gosh.
You teed it. You like slow pitched it in there.
Perfect.
It's up to me to hit it out of the park. So here I go. Ready?
Yes.
I was working out, and I wanted to tell this story on my first solo show, and maybe I will. And so if you heard the solo show and you just want to turn this one off, go ahead. I was working out and watching some TikToks or whatever I was doing between sets, and this little tiny college school, the guy had made a touchdown and stood on his head. Well, it made it onto a viral video, and the NFL players started doing it. And the guy that was making the video said, it's just beautiful. Like, this whole internet thing is so beautiful. If not for the internet, we would have never seen this kid. No one's going to like write a letter to someone to say he stood on his head. And do you know what I mean? It's not going to get to the right people. And so they just kept saying, if not for the internet, if not for the internet. And they kept saying it. They kept planning, if not. And that I was trying to figure out how to tell you what I wanted this project to be about. And I was like, that's it. If not for this podcast, we wouldn't have found each other, because through this show, Jessie, all of my people are going to meet you, and all of your people are going to meet me. And if not for this podcast, I wouldn't have met them, or they wouldn't have met me, or they wouldn't have known someone like me, or my people wouldn't have known someone like you, or we might have discussed something that made someone realize that their spicy mind operates exactly like ours. And I don't think that is spoken enough about, because we're not vulnerable enough to say the wild things that go through here. And so anyways, that really was kind of the start. I agree with you. The internet has been so kind and life-changing. And I met my best friend, Cam. She's in Colorado. We met online, and yeah, I'm just really thankful that whatever algorithm or whatever it was that allowed you, a stranger, to see my post. Why would you, you know? And And so I really am just thankful, and I want this to be a tool for, if not, if not for this podcast, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
heard any type of connection today, or I would have been alone, or I wouldn't have gotten to laugh today, or and there's so many different other facets. It can be broken up into if not for this podcast. And so if not for this moment in my life, if not for this car wreck, if not for this job termination, you can fill in the blanks after this, and then you can fill in the blanks about what the podcast will bring. I pray.
Yep. Oh, I get it. Oh, it's wonderful. I'm so happy you're stepping into this. I'm so happy you're doing this. I'm so happy you're leaning on yourself. I'm so happy that your friend reminded you to lean on yourself, because you got this.
Thank you.
Totally got this. You
Thanks, love.
are the light. You are the light. You know that. Like, there are people that reflect light, and there are people that give light, right? And it can fluctuate between a day and a week and a year and a season of your life. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
you are
Thank you,
definitely a
Jessie.
light giver. You're welcome.
You are too.
Jess.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate
Do you
you.
know
Thank you.
I went by Jessie until Jay. And I want to say that kind of symbolized my old life and my new life with Jay, because his children call me Jessie because they met me by Jessie. And so
Yep.
it's almost like Jessie is my stepmom name.
Yeah.
So they call me Jessie, and everyone else goes by Jess. So
You know what's so interesting? The name change is a defining marker in my life. I was Jess as a child.
what?
And then, my parents call me Jess. My sister calls me Jess. Both sides of my family, my mother's and father's side, call me Jess.
Wow.
I became Jessie when I was in college, and I had a friend named Monica who's from Dallas, and she called me Jessie. She was the first one, and it stuck. It wasn't
Neat.
anything intentional. All of a sudden, I was just Jessie.
Is that wild? Yep. I want
And
to
she-
say Jay. Oh, sorry.
I'll say she was like a life-changing friend. Do you know what I mean?
Was
Like,
she?
she's gone.
Yeah.
It was a season, you know what I mean? It was like a college
Yeah.
time, but yeah, the first time I ever went to Texas was with her.
Yep. I want to say I would attribute Jay for Jess, because he called me Jess. I mean, he didn't really call me Jess to my face. He would refer to me as Jess. And so his people that I was meeting for the first time were like, "You must be Jess," or "Nice to meet you, Jess." And I was like, God, that's endearing. That is so endearing that they would skip the few years to start calling me by my nickname. And it wasn't that. Jay was referring to me. Jay wasn't giving them a chance.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so I did try. Did you ever try Jessica?
Nope. You?
I tried. Yes, and it was a disaster. Like, it's as bad as you think it would go. But I thought it would make me beautiful and delicate and feminine, and it didn't. It didn't at all. It just created a space where people were calling my name and I wasn't answering because it's not my name.
It's not my name
And
either.
then I know, and I was born Jessica Ann, but Jessie home from the hospital, and never by Jessica till 2005. And we ended up meeting a very dear couple that we ended up spending the next 8 years with, and they called me Jessica. And I was like, you don't know me at all. And so, yeah, it was a disaster. In the wild.
My loving sister, whose name is Jenny, and she's Jennifer, not Jennifer. She's just a Jenny. She sent me a video a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, about somebody contemplating what's going to be the next Karen. Have you heard this?
What will it? Why will it have to change?
New generation.
Can't we just keep it though? Because are you going to say something bad?
It was Jessica.
No,
was
it
the
wasn't.
name.
Because
It was
I could see Jessica being it. I could see it being Jessica.
I was like, thanks, sis, thanks. Anyway, yeah, for the next generation, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, please don't let it happen. And I said,
Yeah.
That's why I've always gone by Jessie. I get what they're saying about
Yeah.
Jessica, honestly. Anyway.
Yeah, I could see the Jessica and Amber. Yeah, I could see it.
I've always thought, yeah, Amber would be one. Yeah.
And I have 3 very good friends named Amber. Yep.
Well, on that self-serving, like, let's hope we're not the next Karen note.
Right? And can y'all tell that we have not gotten to catch up in so long because we're like using our show to catch up, which is exactly perfect. I say we need to put a speaker in our shower. We have a double shower, and those conversations between Jay and I are what
Girl, I don't
should
know
be
if we
our-
need to be in the, I don't know if we need to hear those.
Well, you don't have to make me feel uncomfortable at the end of my show.
You talked about it.
I can edit it.
A microphone in your
edit.
shower.
I can edit the show.
Oh,
We
God.
get
Oh,
we get in
God.
our shower and we solve the world's problems. Yes, it is crazy. We just get in there and it's like it's when he'll talk, it's 1,000 words, you know, and I'm just like, this needs to be our show. So
Be a hit. I mean, you could call it "Come in the Shower with Us."
okay, do you mind? Do you mind? A minute
Go
ago
for it.
you said refuct instead of reflect, and now I have to put the little E on our show. And I don't appreciate it. What does the word refuct mean anyways?
What? I said that? What did I say? Refucked about?
Yes.
I didn't say
Seth,
refucked.
run it back. Run it back, Seth.
Refucked? I didn't say refucked. I don't even know what that
You meant to say reflect. You meant to say reflect.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay. All right.
Seth is great at removing those things.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jessie, for being here. And please tell us where everyone can find you besides getting on a boat.
Yeah. So you take an international flight. You probably stop over in London, you know, or Paris to get to Lisbon. The Instagram account is called Prickly and Blooming. That was the name of my podcast. That the episodes are still on Spotify, but they're not on Apple Podcasts. That's another story for another day. And I just recently joined Substack. Have you done that too?
I haven't. What is it closely related to?
So maybe blogging, you know, like it's but you can do paid subscriptions. Like the first person I ever like knew that was on it was Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. I think it was one of the first ones. Yep. And my favorite meditation person, Sarah Blondin. Those are the first people I knew about it. So it's on like a writing. See, like they're trying to make it more like social media. But anyway, that's a long answer. But
it's not. I love it because there might be people here on Substack, but your most utilized on social media would be what?
Instagram,
and that's Prickly and Blooming.
Yep.
And what can they find when they go there?
Lately, it's been photos of my family or me in Portugal. Now that's been kind of. Yep, that's been our life lately, and it's perfect on Substack as well. Check into Substack though.
Okay, I sure will. I love your Instagram lately. I just kind of sit there. And do you know that is one of the, I'm reminded now that's one of the very first things I messaged you is that, because I was all about the aesthetics of Instagram and I messaged you that I wanted to take a nap on your page.
Yep.
You remember?
Yep.
It was so pretty. Yep. It was such a pretty little page, which I think, would we have to thank Michael for that?
That was all me.
Was that all you?
Yeah, I did all the graphics. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're brilliant. Anyways, yeah, that was one of my very first things was telling you I'd like to take a nap on your page. It was so pretty, and it was how I wanted mine. It was the vibe I wanted for mine, but I just didn't know how to get it. So,
darling, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this with me, and sorry about the upfront couple of hours of your life I swallowed up.
Hey, man, it's just time. It's just life.
All right.
Right.
Well, I think it's probably, since it's 11 o'clock here, that might mean you're about to get ready for bed and brush your teeth. And so, so I hope you do have a really good rest of the evening with your family.
Thank you. You have a good
day.
All
right. Thanks, Jessie. You too.
Bye, darling.
Bye.